Ko atua nui te maunga, ko hote o te awa, ko kaipara te moana, ko māhuhu ki te rangi te waka, ko Ngāti Whātua te iwi. Tēnā tātou katoa i tēnei rā. We're standing here on Te Taraere Pā in front of the KAIPARA Harbour, the biggest harbour in the southern hemisphere. Got a story about this moana, kaipara. It goes back to the arrival of Ngāti Whātua's tribal waka, māhuhu ki te rangi. On arrival, they stayed in from the mouth at Pāporapora. The captain of the waka, Rongomai, out fishing one day. His fishing vessel, his waka, capsized. Unfortunately, he drowned. This is the first drowning on the KAIPARA Harbour. From that drowning comes the famous saying, kaipara moana, tahuri waka, whakarere wāhine. Meaning, KAIPARA Harbour that capsizes sea vessels and leaves women widowed. And every single generation from then right to now, there's been drownings on this harbour. The reason being, out there's an area there they call the graveyard. At the mouth, it is the second roughest waters in Aotearoa, second to Cook Strait or Te Moana o Raukawa. We've got many stories about this harbour and things that you should do to look after yourself on this harbour.
Kia ora tātou katoa. Ko Pererika Mākia tōku ingoa. My name is Pererika Mākiha. I'm the Kaihautu Māori for Coastguard New Zealand.
Talofa, malo lele, kia orana, nisa bula vanaka. My name is Chris Lafale and I'm an operational volunteer with Coastguard Papakura.
Crossing a bar is a high-risk boating activity, even for an experienced boatie. The most important part of your job as a skipper is to make decisions that will get everyone home safely.
Key things to remember here are to never attempt a bar crossing without the correct knowledge and experience. So what is a bar? Bars are found outside the entrance of a river or a harbour mouth, and they are a build-up of sand which continuously changes with the shifting sand and silt. Sandbars are very dangerous for boats to cross because they are always changing and they become unpredictable hazards. Every bar is different, so it's important to understand the local features of the bar that you plan to cross.
Planning starts before you leave home. In the days leading up to your trip, make sure your boat has been serviced and is seaworthy. The following acronym will aid you in ensuring the relevant equipment is on your boat. PASSBF, Pass Before. P stands for Personal Flotation Device. Life jacket. Ensure there is a correctly fitted life jacket with a quad strap for everyone on board the boat. A is for anchor, chain and warp. S is for signalling equipment. A minimum of 2 forms of communication, i.e. VHF radio, mobile phone and a waterproof zip lock bag. Flares or EPIRB. Second S is for secondary propulsion, auxiliary motor or oars. B is for baler, bilge pump, and F is for fire extinguisher. Make sure that you have enough fuel. Use the 1/3 fuel rule. Have 1/3 for the trip out, 1/3 for the trip home, and 1/3 spare.
Always check the marine weather forecast and be sure to look at the wind and the swell. You can find this information on our Coastguard app. And it's important to know the tide times for both heading out and coming back across the bar. Plan a trip timeline for getting out and getting back across the bar.
The KAIPARA Harbour is a fantastic playground, miles of open space, good fishing, but it can be a dangerous place if you cross the bar into the Tasman Sea. So you need to plan ahead and make sure your boat and your crew are capable of extended trips. Preparation is everything. Plenty of food and water. It may be a long day. Plenty of good clothing. Take wet weather gear even if it's not wet. So make sure that you've got everything that you need for an extended day on the water. So now you're on the ramp, it's time to launch your boat. Time for a trip report.
Coastguard radio, Stone Rescue.
Call Coastguard Channel 7. You need to tell them where you're going out from, where you're going to, how many people on board, what time you expect to be back. Once you approach the bar, come down.
Coming down.
Once you've assessed the bar, you may see 2, 3, 4 metre swells rolling gently through. Anything more than that is probably a no-go bar day. Don't feel pressured to go out. If in doubt, don't go out. If you're comfortable, call up for a bar crossing report. Coastguard Radio, Zulu Mike Yankee 7952, Windstone Rescue calls in.
Windstone Rescue, Coastguard Radio, go ahead.
Hey, good afternoon, Coastguard. Windstone Rescue, about to cross the Southern Channel, KAIPARA Bar, 5 POB.
Roger, confirm that was 5 people on board, over.
Affirmative. So the safest channel to cross the bar is the Tory Channel, also known as the South Channel. It's the shortest and the most sheltered from the northwest, and on a good day will take between 10 and 20 minutes to cross. The other channels are far more dangerous and not recommended for recreational boating. So the best time to cross this particular bar is around an hour and a half to 2 hours before high, or an hour after high. Depending on conditions, that can change completely, but those are probably your best chance of crossing safely. If you're crossing at low tide, then slack water is the best time, but an hour before slack and an hour after slack will give you the best chance to get through. So when crossing the Southern Channel, there are no leading marks, no leading lines. If you have GPS, the chart's clearly marked, good depth of water all the way through. Don't stray over to the banks. Keep in the main channel. It shallows very, very rapidly. Look ahead of you, you'll see the calmer pieces of water. You'll see big standing waves on either side of you. They mark the banks. Don't go anywhere near those.
Right, going up. Copy that. Depth is 13 metres. So once you're safely across the bar, you need to close your bar crossing report. Coastguard Radio, Zulu Mike Yankee 7952, Windstone Rescue calls. If you don't, and Coastguard can't contact you, they will initiate a search for you. When you're ready to return across the bar, before committing, you need to ask yourself, are the conditions safe? Is the tide suitable? Remember high tide. Crossing the bar because you feel pressure to get home is a recipe for disaster. If you feel that the bar is unsafe to cross, contact Coastguard on VHF or star 500 on your mobile and we'll help you make a decision. If you decide to cross the bar, rebrief the crew and secure any loose objects. Remind your crew to hold on and to stay in the same place while crossing. Think about weight distribution, especially if you've added weight to your vessel with fish or seafood. Assess the waves. When you're comfortable, log a bar crossing report with Coastguard. Pick a wave to cross the bar, stay focused on what's ahead. Delegate or choose one of your crew to keep a lookout behind to let you know if there is a wave catching up behind you. If you don't stay with the wave you've chosen, it's likely your boat will fall behind, risking the next wave catching up and capsizing or swamping your vessel. Ensure you proceed on a straight direction at an adequate speed. You'll know when you've safely crossed the bar because the water will tend to become calmer. Coming down.
Once you're confident that you have crossed the bar, close your bar crossing report. It's really, really important, otherwise Coastguard will start search and rescue procedures. Once you've done that, then head on back to the boat ramp. Once you get to the boat ramp, close your trip report.
7952, Windstone Rescue, closing trip report.
Make sure you can get everyone home safely after a good day out on the water.
Always head out with someone who knows what they're doing until you have experience under your belt. If at any point the conditions or checklists don't add up, postpone your trip for another time or day, or choose to go boating somewhere else.
Respect the bar. If in doubt, don't go out.
For a young skipper, if they're unfamiliar with the kaipara, we have to be very aware because the majority of this harbour is extremely shallow, 1 metre to 3 metres deep. Before you know it, when it's low tide, the majority of it is all mud flats. You might think you're alright at high tide, and then you go across a certain place and then it's dropping and then you can't get back. So you got to know where these channels are, especially if you're coming away from the main channel. And then if you're going out across that bar, don't go out across that bar if you ain't got any experience. You don't muck around out here. Ke tau te marino ki runga o kaipara e hora nei. Ki au te whakaaro pai, ki runga ki te tangata, haerere i runga i tēnei moana. Kia puta ki tai, hoki mai, ki uta, ka puta ka ora. Whānau hara mai te toki, haumi e, hui e, tai ki e.